Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. How the heck is everyone out there? What's going on? What's new? How's life? What are you buying? What are you investing in? What are you doing today? Don't forget, that was a little aggressive. Don't forget to leave a like. It is a free and easy way to support the channel. Yeah, very big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel for a number of years, or even if it's just been a day. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. As always, a lot of interesting, I'll use the word interesting things happening within the cryptocurrency space. We are, there's a little hiccup here, but you'll see. We are quite fortunate to always, in many ways, receive very good news within this market. And this one, I would say, is no real difference. So since the beginning of this year, we had a lot of discussions. If you weren't here, the beginning of the year was kind of filled with this idea of states within the United States announcing that they were going to be creating their own cryptocurrency treasury or strategic reserve, whatever name people were trying to give it. At some point, it was around, I think, 4 states announced they were going to do it. Then that became 12. And then I think it was over 30, question mark. Everyone, by the time we got to April and May, were quite adamant that this was going to happen. All the different states across the U.S. were going to start buying up or using or holding Bitcoin in some capacity. It's actually been a while. It's actually been a while since we heard from any of the states. I think one of them did approve it. No. I think it was like 2 or 3 states that did approve it. But there's something about how they're going to be funding it. There's a huge conversation floating around the idea of states being able to accumulate Bitcoin or crypto for their reserves, but it has to be taxpayer neutral. I forgot exactly what the term is, but something that wouldn't burden taxpayers in any form or capacity. So this is our first real update in a while. Michigan. Yeah, Michigan is in the news. Michigan's plan to establish a state-run Bitcoin reserve is apparently moving forward after months of delay. I think 2 states said no. The really weird part is that, so I assumed each state would have had like 1 bill put forth and that would have been voted on. Many states had like 6 or 7 bills. So let's say one of them said the state can use up to 5% of the money in this box to buy Bitcoin. Someone would release a bill that said 4%. Another bill would say you can only buy Bitcoin on Tuesdays when you're holding your left foot sitting in a rocking chair. The other one would say, like, no, you had to have 2 rocking chairs. It sounds ridiculous, but this is the kind of stuff that they were putting in there. It was all very like, I think people were trying to make sure that their bill got put forth before anyone else's. Everyone had like ridiculous kind of caveats to it. And yeah, House Bill 4087, introduced in February. Wow. Cleared initial hurdles and was referred to the Government Operations Committee. If passed, the law would authorize the state treasurer to allocate up to 10%. Allocate up to 10% of Michigan's general and stabilization funds into crypto, with strict rules for custody and security. I think we had 2 states or 3 states who also said that they were going to try and go beyond Bitcoin. Yeah. We had some say that they wanted Bitcoin and Ethereum. Another one said that they wanted crypto assets, but that was a weird one because they said the coin's market cap must be over $1 trillion. And I was like, just Just say Bitcoin. You don't have to write these fancy words. The measure is backed by Republican Representatives Brian Posthumus, 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 and Ron Robinson, and mirrors similar moves in Texas, New Hampshire, and Arizona, where state-level Bitcoin reserve laws are already in place. Okay, right. I knew there were multiple who had already like pushed some of these things through. And I remember that was like a really big thing. What's that guy's name? Oh gosh, there was a guy on Twitter. I'm sure he's still there. Dennis Porter. I think his name is Dennis Porter. He was the guy who apparently was working with different states and stuff like that to actually like make their cryptocurrency bills. He was big in the news around that time, and then a lot of these things just kind of slowed down. So I haven't seen him talking about anything that much, but there are multiple states who already have some kind of a Bitcoin reserve law. This number, I don't believe that this is actually the number, but okay. It says in the article, currently, around 47 states have proposed or considered Bitcoin reserve legislation. For those who do not know, and this is the worst thing ever, there are 50 states in the United States, and I say that because I've gotten into far too many arguments. And I can already hear someone know the number's 50. I've had too many arguments in my life with people who think that it's 51. I've even heard some 52s, and I was like, that's like second grade, dude. No, there's 50, and the U.S. has multiple territories, including Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is not the 51st state. There were like measures for that in like the 80s. People proposed it, but it never became a thing. The number's 50. I shouldn't have had to have said all of that out loud. And about 26 of these states still have active bills in progress. Really weird, because we were kind of hearing that this was going to happen, that's going to happen. Like we were hearing that, it would be like a rapid progression for these things to happen. And for some reason, if you know why, please tell me. By the time we got to like May, nothing. May, June, July, August, September, no words. Like everyone just kind of went silent. On the federal level, the U.S. House has already tasked the Treasury Department to study the feasibility of a national Bitcoin reserve, focusing on custody, cybersecurity, and accounting standards. Yeah, this was also popular news. I see. We're in some kind of like a time loop. I don't know exactly what it is, but we are, my friends, we are stuck in it. We're having a lot of like blast from the pasty news and also like popular news again. We haven't had like real popular news in a while. If something happens, I can maybe find like one place talking about it. The fact that this is on multiple different websites all discussing the same thing, it's like, okay, things are kind of moving how they previously were before. Yeah. Would be nice if we had some kind of an answer. I think my initial idea was between 10 to 15 states. I think people like to propose things like this, but not everyone is actually, I won't use the word brave, but like willing to actually go through with something like this. We'll see in the very near future, because apparently everything's picking back up again. So let's see if some other states announce the same exact thing, because for those of you who missed it, we're talking about companies and institutions and blah, 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 buying Bitcoin. The weirdest part is that a lot of these companies have been announcing, we want 21,000 Bitcoin. We want 210,000 Bitcoin. We want, like huge, massive amounts of BTC. These states are doing the same. That was the weird part at the beginning of the year, is that these states were also like, we want 100,000 Bitcoin. One of them even said 1 million. And I was like, what the funk and waggles are you talking about? Like, what is? So yeah, we'll see how that ends up shaping up and how many other states end up continuing their bills. Okie dokie. Let's move on. And I want to say this is like the opposite side of the coin. Kind of. Yeah, almost entirely. This is also, I don't know what's happening. This is also a blast from the past. In 2017, the cryptocurrency market got more attention than anyone could have ever imagined. By the time we got to 2018, there were a number of countries who were threatening, and some did, to actually ban crypto. They said it was evil, it's awful, no one should be using it. The actual real reason is that many fiat currencies aren't as strong as we've been led to believe our entire lives. But we get it. But I think at the actual deep down level, we don't really get it. We had a lot of countries years ago who used to say, remember when they were running these like questionnaires, is Bitcoin a threat to this currency? No. Can Bitcoin do this? No. Is Bitcoin going to take over the US dollar? No. We had these multiple, and I mean, people always like outside of crypto, they used to celebrate this news. Crypto's not as strong as you think it is. Oop, look at Bitcoin's falling again. Oh no, so sorry. Until around 2020 when we got, I think it was the UK, some kind of a study that was done. And the study was like, could Bitcoin dismantle the current financial system? And the answer was yes. And I was like, oh, snaps. So a lot of countries actually tried banning crypto years ago and or announced that they were going to give some kind of like proper crypto regulation. This is what we were waiting for a while in the US. You know, it took forever. But once Gary Gensler left, we're moving in this kind of direction. That was the magic. Like really, if you had to be there. That was part of the magic of hearing Brazil be like, hey, we're going to regulate it. Oh, okay, regulated. Hearing Hong Kong be like, yeah, okay, give us 6.5 weeks and done. You got all your paperwork there. We were like, wait, it can be done that quick? One country in particular has been trying to stray away from crypto for quite some time. And the problem is that you can't shy away from it forever. Because if you do, you're going to be left behind. And this isn't like a, throwing my fist into the air and screaming revolution, like that kind of thing. The issue is that crypto is actually taking over. And people, as far as we know, are going to choose it over fiat currencies in some form or capacity. Through stablecoin, through staking, through just holding, buying crypto, Bitcoin, XRP, whatever letters you want to throw inside there. One place in particular, and it's not China, has a very large population. I believe the largest population currently on the planet. It was guesstimated years ago that we might have around 10% of people within India getting into the cryptocurrency market once it became legal. Wouldn't you imagine, since 2017, India has given zero crypto regulation outside of taxation, telling you how much you have to pay to try and deter people from getting into it. But once again, that's not how this works, and people are going to get into the market. But their currency isn't that strong. So the fear is, and it's a real one, people are going to choose crypto over the rupee. Indian regulators are reportedly holding back from introducing comprehensive crypto rules. Yeah, I wonder why. Over concerns that regulation could legitimize digital assets and create systemic risks. Yeah. A number of years ago, India tried to get their economy lightly under control. They got rid of some of their largest paper bills, saying that people were laundering money with it. Their economy is strong because of their numbers. And I mean, also their tech. And like, let's not be mistaken here. India, like, they have an industry. However, if the US dollar is wobbly, as I've said before, other fiat currencies are as well. If you get 1/10 of your population into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into XRP, and they start choosing that over their local currency, more people will follow. It's very simple. If you buy Bitcoin for $1 and you tell someone that you bought it for $1, When it goes up to 100, they're going to want some Bitcoin. When that person says, I got Bitcoin for 100 and it goes up to $5,000, the $5,000 person is also going to want some Bitcoin. If we have Bitcoin at 100K and Bitcoin goes to 1.2 million on the ascension upward, people within these countries are going to go, my paper currency isn't doing that. Have you ever seen stablecoin returns? If you haven't, many crypto exchanges will give you like a return on holding stablecoins. It's the same with the stablecoin companies. Sometimes these returns are 3%, 4%, 7%. Yeah, you heard that correctly, for holding a stablecoin. You know how much banks give? 0.5%, 1.3%. They can't keep up with those numbers. So we've seen before, years ago, a lot of people in a lot of places, they switched their local currency into stable coins. They transact in stable coins. They make passive income from stable coins. Now are you understanding what happens when Bitcoin and XRP can also stake and get passive income? Why would I choose to use this devaluing currency when I can choose this thing that's going up by 19% every 6 months and I'm making extra money from it? The systemic risk has nothing to do so much with you. It has to do with the actual government control over the currency. This isn't a tinfoil hat thing. This is actually what it is. One of the earliest things in the cryptocurrency space had to do with the idea of Bitcoin being deflationary. And I mean, banks and governments ran away with that. It's terrible. We can't have deflation. The idea is that for them, a government shows how strong and wealthy they are based off of how much their currency inflates. It sounds weird, but that's what it is. As your population grows, you print more money. You then put that money onto a piece of paper and say, look, we got $7 trillion richer than we were before. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Because of the inflation, asset prices also rise. That house you bought for $250, it's now worth $340. You go to the supermarket, but prices have also risen. This is the counter effect of inflation. Asset prices go up, but the prices of everything goes up. The idea of Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is deflationary. Compared to other currencies, all other currencies would and will essentially go to zero next to it. They will continue to lose value as more people pump money into Bitcoin. If Bitcoin gets to $1 million per coin, that means the value of the US dollar has been decimated. Who benefits? Those holding Bitcoin. In a deflationary world, we actually see the prices relative to Bitcoin go down. So remember before in that TV show, $1 million listing, I have to repeat it again, where someone was trying to buy some $3 million apartment for I think like 3,000 or 4,000 Bitcoin. Awesome, amazing. The guy said no, he didn't want it. I don't know what Bitcoin is. The value of that apartment went up to $11 million. How much is 5,000 Bitcoin now? Right. So yeah, that's the actual systemic risk. It's basically the people who print the money have the power. When the people who print the money no longer control the money and it's in the hands of the public, who then has the power? You know how I've been saying over and over, I'm like, it would be great if more people got into the market. There's a reason why these companies and institutions are buying so much Bitcoin. If Bitcoin, and I say it this way, if Bitcoin gives power to the holders, why are the rich people rushing to hold all of it? According to a Wednesday Reuters report, citing documents the outlet's reporters viewed, the Reserve Bank of India maintains the view that containing the risks posed by cryptocurrencies through regulation would be challenging. If you tell people, yeah, this is legal, you can do that, watch out, it's scary, but you can still do this, and these people pick up their phones and they see that prices have gone up by 28% and they go, I should have gotten them before. And then you have 100 million people buying into this market every month through monthly orders. That changes the market. That changes the mindset. The document reportedly states that regulating cryptocurrencies would legitimize them. Yeah. And cause the sector to become systemic. Didn't you think it was weird when BlackRock and Fidelity were like, hey, let's circumvent the usage of the US dollar. And when people cash out of the ETFs, let's give them back Bitcoin. What have you then stopped using? You've stopped using fiat currencies. Even more so, some of them around the world, and what BlackRock and Fidelity are trying to do. Imagine being able to pay into an ETF with Bitcoin. You see the price go up, the value goes so-and-so, this happens, blah, 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 blah. And at some point you go, I want to cash out. The valuation of it has gone up by 15%. And when you cash out, you get back Bitcoin. What have you not touched? The US dollar. Now, what happens in a country like India, where people are already not too keen on the economic system, and they figure out that there's another way for them to make money passively while doing absolutely nothing? Yeah. An outright ban on cryptocurrencies, the document continued, would address the alarming risks of speculative crypto assets, but could not tackle peer-to-peer transfers or trades on decentralized exchanges. Currently, India lacks comprehensive crypto regulation. This is done on purpose, but it has imposed certain restrictions. And then there's a photo there for whatever reason. Yeah, this is an article for those of you not looking from the screen. This is from the 6th of April, 2018. It says India bans cryptocurrency trades. Yeah, they've been doing this for they panicked. They panicked in January 2020. They literally, like, them and a bunch of, I think 2 other countries banned it. And India was like, no, something's very wrong. And they started this whole weird fear-mongering thing that was just complete nonsense. But yeah, no, people will choose crypto over the other things. This is why you see the rich people trying to buy it all for themselves. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Pay attention to what's happening. There are a lot of countries on the planet whose currencies are failing. They're not looking too hot. And banks, institutions, and other countries are buying up huge amounts of crypto to get away from it. Remember we were talking about de-dollarization? What happens when the world reserve currency buckles? Yeah, very interesting time to be in this market. All right, everyone, I think that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to always keep your head down, pay attention to your own money, stop worrying what other people are doing. Make sure that you become rich from this market, because apparently 8 billion other people are just not looking in crypto's direction at the moment. But they probably will. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting the channel. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.